You ever watch a pro athlete and just think, how do they do that? How do they make something so ridiculously complicated look so easy? Well, today we're pulling back the curtain on the science of skill acquisition. We're going to break down exactly how athletes go from fumbling beginners to absolute masters.
I mean, seriously, look at this volleyball spike. The explosive jump, the timing, the raw power, it's just perfect. But here's the thing, no one starts out like this. Every single pro at some point couldn't do it. So how did they bridge that gap? That's what this is all about.
So here's our game plan. We'll start with the super simple two-part formula for learning anything. Then we'll dive into the 4 main ways coaches teach or give guidance. After that, we'll look at the 4 kinds of feedback you get. And finally, we'll put it all together to see why a beginner needs something totally different than an expert.
All right, let's kick things off with the absolute basics. What's at the heart of learning any new skill?
It really boils down to a simple, powerful loop. Step 1, you get some kind of instruction. Someone shows you or tells you what to do. Step 2, you get feedback on how well you did it. That's it. Every amazing skill you've ever seen is built on that endless cycle of instruction and feedback.
Okay, so let's zoom in on that first part, guidance. You can think of this as the coach's toolbox. It's all the different ways they can get an idea from their head into your body. And they've got 4 main tools to choose from. First up, we've got visual guidance. This one's pretty obvious, right? It's just learning by seeing. It could be a coach showing you the perfect golf swing, you watching a video of yourself, or even just looking at a playbook diagram. The whole point is to build a crystal clear picture in your head of what you're aiming for. Now, the great thing about this is it's amazing for beginners. If you've never seen a skill before, it gives you an instant aha moment. But, and this is a big but, the demonstration has to be perfect. Because if the coach shows you a flawed technique, guess what? You're going to learn a flawed technique.
And here's a perfect real-world example. The coach isn't just saying, stretch your arms. He's showing the exact form, the angle, the posture. The athletes can see exactly what to copy. It takes all the guesswork out of it.
Tool number 2 is verbal guidance. This is your classic coaching. It's using words to break down the how-to. Think about a tennis coach telling you to snap your wrist on a serve, or a quarterback getting tactical instructions. This is all about the nitty-gritty details.
So the upside is huge. You can communicate really complex, specific ideas. The downside? Information overload. It's so easy for a coach to say 5 things at once, and the athlete's brain just short circuits. Most of that great advice just goes in one ear and out the other.
Third, we have manual guidance. Now this is literally hands-on coaching. This is when a coach physically puts their hands on you and moves your body through the right motion. Maybe it's fixing your grip on a bat or guiding your hips through a turn. The goal here is for you to feel what the correct movement is like.
This is fantastic for building confidence and, obviously, for safety in more dangerous skills. The risk, though, is that the athlete can start to depend on it. They get so used to that physical help that they can't perform the skill without it.
And this image says it all. The coach isn't just there to catch the gymnast if she falls. She's actively guiding her body, making sure the rotation and form are spot on. It's safety and technique all wrapped into one.
And the last tool in the box is mechanical guidance. This is when you use some kind of equipment to help you learn. Think about a gymnast in a safety harness learning a new flip, or even something as simple as arm floaties for a kid learning to swim. The gear supports you so you can focus on the technique.
The biggest win here is psychological. Fear can be a massive barrier to learning, and a harness or a safety net can almost completely eliminate it. The obvious drawback is, well, you can't use it for every skill. There's no harness for learning to shoot a basketball, right?
Okay, so you've been shown, you've been told, you've been physically guided through a movement. You've gotten the instruction. But that's only half the story. How in the world do you know if it's actually working? And that, my friends, brings us to the other side of the coin, feedback. This is the information that comes back to you after you've tried the skill. And just like guidance, we can break it down into 4 types.
So first, we can split feedback by where it comes from. Intrinsic feedback is the stuff you feel inside. It's the sweet spot feeling when you hit a baseball perfectly. It's your own body telling you, yep, that was right. Extrinsic feedback is everything else. It's your coach shouting, great shot, seeing your time on a scoreboard, or a teammate giving you a high five.
We can also categorize it by when it happens. Concurrent feedback is given during the skill. Think of a coxswain in a rowing boat shouting out the stroke rate. Terminal feedback happens after you're done. That's your post-game film session with the coach.
One is for making changes on the fly, the other is for deep analysis later on.
Okay, so now we have all the pieces. 4 types of guidance, 4 types of feedback. This is where it gets really interesting, because what works for a total newbie is often the exact opposite of what an elite pro needs.
And check this out. A beginner has no idea what the right movement feels like, so they absolutely depend on that external, extrinsic feedback from a coach. And they need it concurrently, right in the moment, to fix things. But an expert, they have this incredibly fine-tuned intrinsic sense. They can feel the tiniest mistake and often correct it themselves. For them, the real value is in that detailed, terminal feedback after the performance, where they can analyze strategy and hunt for those tiny 1% improvements.
So, if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's that practice makes perfect isn't the whole story. It's not about mindlessly repeating something 1,000 times. It's about being locked into this smart, continuous loop of getting the right guidance, trying the skill, and then getting the right feedback.
I love this quote because it just nails it. Guidance is the map that shows you where to go, but feedback is the GPS that constantly tells you if you're still on the right road. You need both. You absolutely need both to get where you're going.
So I'll leave you with this to think about. Pick a skill you've gotten good at. Could be anything, sports, music, even a video game. What actually worked for you? Was it watching someone else do it? Was it a teacher's specific advice? Was it that internal click when you finally got the feel for it? Thinking about that tells you a whole lot about your own personal learning code.